Ladies and gentlemen, in today's video, we're going to be trying to predict who is going to dethrone every single current active champion in the WWE today. And we're going to be looking at every active champion on WWE, including the main roster, as well as every champion down in NXT, including a champion in TNA and also now a champion in AAA. The rules are, if the championship appears on WWE TV, I include it on here, unless it's the Speed Championship. This is a monthly series that gives us the ability to look at the current landscape of championship feuds and where they can go down the line. It's also just fun to try and make these predictions because I'm usually always wrong, but when I'm right, you're damn right I celebrate it. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I know that you're gonna fall in love with this YouTube channel because we always upload daily wrestling content. And don't forget, if you want more than just daily wrestling content, come over to the Patreon, patreon.com/SantiZap, where you're gonna get so much more extra content that we can never upload here because it would just get blocked due to copyright since we use real footage over there. So go check it out. Link in the description, link in the pinned comment. Let's get started. Let's start things off by talking about maybe the most unpredictable championship in the WWE today, the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Every month I try to predict these things. Every month I'm wrong. Every month I'm not even close as to where they're going with these things. I just hate these things. In the last video, the champions were Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan. And I thought that we were going to be sunsetting their championship reign soon, mostly because I thought the WWE had plans to have a singles main event run for Liv Morgan as we went into SummerSlam, which was in her home state. And that made a lot of sense, and it looked like WWE was going in that direction. In fact, in the last video, I predicted that they would lose the championship at Evolution to the team of Nikki Bella and Rhea Ripley. Now, I know that this sounded completely ridiculous at the time, but I really thought that there was a strong likelihood that this is where WWE was going to go, considering Nikki Bella and Liv Morgan were feuding, as well as Raquel Rodriguez and Rhea Ripley. So to me, it just sort of made sense that WWE would put this hodgepodge of a match for the Women's Tag Team Championships. And knowing WWE and how they operate with these tag titles, if these two had have gotten an opportunity, for sure they would have won the tag titles. I ended up being wrong because we do technically have new Women's Tag Team Champions in the name of Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez due to Liv Morgan's shoulder injury, which forced her to relinquish the championship, and now she's going to be out for the most part of 2025, probably into 2026. And this, believe it or not, even though it's just a minor shift within a tag team division that doesn't really have a lot of impact, changes a lot in terms of who's going to be going after these tag team championships, because without Liv Morgan anymore, it means that WWE is basically forced to use Rhea Ripley right back into the main event scene with Io Sky, because there's literally nobody else for Io Sky at the moment because WWE has refused to build their women's main event scene. And now WWE is going to be doing a fatal four-way for the Women's Tag Team Championships, and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think that Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez are going to be holding Beyond Evolution. I am going to go with the team of Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. I'm assuming that they're probably going to be the SmackDown representation going into the fatal four-way, because I don't think that they're going to give this to the Secret Hervis. I don't think that they're going to give this to B-Fab and Michin. WWE loves to put main eventers into quasi-temporary tag teams and push them to the moon in the tag team division. So if these two do come together, they're just going to win. Like, I know WWE's formula for these women's tag titles. They will win if they get an opportunity. And honestly, I don't mind this because they're not doing anything with them anyway, and they could be a fun tag team that hates each other, and that's usually always a fun dynamic. The WWE World Tag Team Champions, and folks, we have new champions. In the last video, the champions were The New Day, and I honestly thought that they could hold this for like a year or maybe lose it within a week, because this tag team division is so entirely meaningless that championship changes just really don't have an effect on the division at all. And if a whole entire championship change just doesn't matter, you know you've got yourself a problematic division. In the last video, I predicted that it was going to be Julius Creed and Brutus Creed of American Made. If you go back to that last video, I said, who cares? Who wins these? I said it could be War Raiders, it could be Judgment Day, it could be American Made. It'll still be a dead on arrival championship with a completely dead tag team division. And really, I had a 33 1/3% chance of being right because those three teams that I listed were pretty much like the only teams that were viable to potentially dethrone the New Day, and it ended up being the Judgment Day. Hooray. We have JD McDonough and Finn Balor as our new World Tag Team Champions, and yes, people celebrated, and it's almost as if people forgot that they were amongst the worst tag team champions in recent modern memory. Remember like 130 days without defending the world tag titles? Yeah, I will not forget that. Funny enough, they have not really improved the division since the last time that JD McDonough and Finn Balor were tag team champions. In fact, dare I argue, it's gotten somehow significantly worse. And I have absolutely zero expectation that this is going to be a good tag team championship run. Like, honestly, who the hell are they going to be defending this thing against? Like, all of the most viable tag teams are heels. The only babyface team is the Boar Raiders. Look, this is just going to be another boring championship run like the New Days was. The fix of this division was not new champions. It's like good storylines, maybe adding a couple more teams here or there, but it's not just changing the championship. This doesn't fix anything. The fundamental problems of the Raw tag team division are still very, very much there. So again, I'm going to take my 33 1/3% chance and I'm just going to pick American Made. Again, it's like one of three teams. So toss a three-sided coin and I'm going to say that it landed on American Made. There are so many WWE Premium Live events this summer. We have Evolution, Saturday night's main event, the Great American Bash, SummerSlam, and Clash in Paris. And if you intend on going to any of these shows, I want to make sure that you get the absolute best price possible. And the best way to do that is with today's video sponsor, SeatGeek. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app, and for good reason. There are currently more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports, festivals, and more. And with SeatGeek, you can be sure that you're going to be getting the absolute best price for whatever seat you want at whatever show you plan to attend. All WWE Premium Live event shows, as well as Raws and SmackDown tickets, are all available on SeatGeek as well. So make sure that you stop by there before you buy any of those tickets so that you can make sure that you're getting the absolute best possible price. You're going to want to look for the green dots because green means good, red means bad in terms of how good of a deal you're getting. Plus, every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. And you know that I came through for all of you guys because you can use code SANTI10 to get 10% off your next set of tickets over at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code SANTI10. Make sure that you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so that you can use it later. Thanks again to SeatGeek for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get you back to the wrestling that you came for. The WWE Tag Team Championships, on the other hand, these things are in a much better position. In the last video, the champions were the Street Profits, and they did defend the championships between now and the last video at the start of June, but they were able to retain. In the last video, I said that they would lose the tag team championships to the Wyatt Six. The Wyatt Six ended up getting a championship opportunity much faster than I was anticipating, and I was a little bit concerned as to how fast they got that championship opportunity because I didn't want to see them win that quickly. Luckily, the rest of the tag team division intervened, and the Wyatt Six aren't tag team champions just yet, but I'm not going to change my prediction. I think that this is the inevitability of the tag team division. They're trying to make the Wyatt Six the boogeyman of that tag team division, and one of the ways to do that is to put them at the very top as this like monster that you have to topple by giving them the tag titles. I think it's going to happen. Maybe Saturday night's main event, maybe they wait till SummerSlam, but I think it's inevitable that these guys are going to be holding the tag titles. I guess I have to include the Campeón de Parejas AAA Lucha Libre Championship. It's the AAA tag team titles. The champions are Los Garzas, and I'm including these briefly because they appeared on Friday Night SmackDown, and I guess that's the rule. I made a poll on Twitter, and everybody said that I had to include these, but I'm not going to put a lot of brain power into this, all right? I think they're going to lose this to the Aztec Warriors and Pentagon and Laredo Kid. They literally have a championship opportunity in a couple of weeks, so yeah, sure, I'm going to say that they win. The NXT Tag Team Championships. I swear to God, these tag team championships like just don't exist. For how much I clown the Women's Tag Team Championship division, I think that the NXT Tag Team division might somehow be worse. The current champions are Hank and Tank, and I swear to God, they are just have disappeared from TV. There is no division. There's no storylines for these guys. They're doing a little bit of a storyline where the culling is coming together with like being led by Sean Spears, maybe going after the tag titles. I don't think they're going to win. I think they're going to go in the same direction that I said last month. Last month, I said it was going to be Dark State. They had disappeared for a bit, then they reappeared in TNA, and now they're having vignettes appearing on NXT, and I think eventually it's going to lead to one pair of these two coming together to win the tag titles. This division is in trouble right now. Like genuinely, I'm scared for the NXT Tag Team division considering this used to be like the absolute premier tag team division in all of professional wrestling, and right now it is down in the dumps. Another championship that really hasn't had a lot of movement over the last month is the NXT Women's North American Championship. In the last video, the champion was Sol Ruca, and look, they've been busy with Sol Ruca at the very least. Not really busy for anything to do with the Women's North American Championship, but she's been busy trying to qualify for what's been going on in NXT with a championship opportunity at Evolution, and they've been busy with this storyline with Tatum Paxley. I don't know that it's gonna go anywhere. Like, I think they might be hinting at maybe Izzy Dame becoming the next North American champion, but I'm not gonna go in that direction. I'm still gonna go with Zarya. The storyline about Zarya piggybacking off of Sol Ruca's championship reign continues to be more and more of a focus of their dynamic, even though they're best friends right now. And I think the inevitability is for these best friends to implode. Maybe it happens somewhere in the fall. It doesn't look like it's going to happen here in the summer, but I'm still going with Zarya to be our next North American champion. We have a new champion in the women's division's mid-card in the Women's United States Championship. In the last video, the champion was Zelina Vega, and I made the argument that it was time for Zelina Vega's reign to end. It just wasn't a good reign. Let's call it what it was. I was really excited for her to win. I was really excited for her to get her opportunity. And even though she got the opportunity to win the title, I would argue that she never got the opportunity to actually be a champion. She never really got like a proper storyline with the championship. She never even really got to so much as cut a promo. And how do you have a champion and you don't even give her the mic when she's actually very good on the microphone, by the way? I think that what they did with Zelina Vega's US Championship reign was a complete disservice to her capabilities. In the last video, I predicted that Julia was going to be the next United States Women's Champion. By the time that I aired the last video, the championship feud between Julia and our champion Zelina Vega had already started. It was in the early beginnings. It was like right after Money in the Bank, and I had a feeling that they were eventually going to have a championship match, likely in that month of June, and that Julia would just become our new champion because the division desperately needed a reset. And my argument was that with Julia being new to the main roster eyeballs, that she herself would be an excellent reset to this division, kind of in a similar way that Gunther was for the Intercontinental Championship back in 2022. And we have a brand new champion, brand new United States champion in Saudi Arabia. Not Night of Champions, but at least it was in front of a pretty hyped crowd that popped for her when she won. And honestly, I kind of want them to just replicate the Gunther model, just have her just completely destroy all of the women that are even so much as viable or considered mid-carders on the SmackDown side of things. Have her completely annihilate Zelina Vega again, Chelsea Green, The Secret Hervis, have her destroy B-Fab, Michin, Candice LeRae, all of the notable women that are considered lower mid-card or mid-carders on the SmackDown tag side of things, have her just completely demolish them like Gunther would do to the mid-card back in 2022. Because the play would then be for her to have her annihilate the mid-card, elevate herself in the championship so that then a known main eventer can come in and challenge for that thing and eventually dethrone her, and thus keeping the legacy and the prestige of the champion going from one dominant champion to a well-known commodity in the main event, and then maybe it can come back to somebody in the mid-card. That worked for the Intercontinental Championship, and I think they could have this formula work to revive the dead Women's United States Championship. So, I'm sorry, I think it's gonna be Charlotte or Alexa Bliss. I know that this is kind of a cop-out, giving you two answers in one, but maybe somewhere down the line, after their tag team championship reign, they implode because they want singles gold and Julia comes in between them. And honestly, think about how hype a WrestleMania match, I genuinely think this could be a WrestleMania match. Julia versus Alexa Bliss versus Charlotte Flair for the United States Championship. I know people are booing. Oh my God, Charlotte Flair. Listen, all right, they're putting in the work with Charlotte Flair to actually maybe make her interesting. And to see Charlotte Flair at some point go after a mid-card title is such a vote of confidence for both Julia, the champion, and the championship itself. Having a bona fide main eventer like Becky Lynch go after the Intercontinental Championship did wonders there. So having the likes of Charlotte or Alexa Bliss eventually go after that US title after Julia has cemented herself as the monster of the mid-card could do wonders for that United States Championship division. You know I'm right. You might hate it, but you know I'm right. The Women's Intercontinental Championship. This thing doesn't really need a lot of help. This thing has completely gotten off the ground running, which I'm happy about. The champion in the last video was Becky Lynch. That has not changed. She's still our champion. She was able to retain at Money in the Bank against Lyra Valkyria. She was able to retain against Bayley on Monday Night Raw as well, albeit because of shenanigans and an involvement from Lyra Valkyria. In the last video, I said that Bayley was going to be our next Women's Intercontinental Champion, and I'm actually going to double down on this. I think that Bayley is going to be our next Women's Intercontinental Champion, so I'm going to lock this bad boy in still. The North American Championship. Let's talk about this bad boy. In the last video, the champion was Ethan Page, and not a heck of a whole lot has changed here. The only thing that's changed is that now he is in a proper full-blown feud with Ricky Saints. In the last video, the feud hadn't really fully started. He had beaten Ricky Saints for the championship earlier, but Ricky Saints was in like a little bit of a hiatus, and we weren't really sure if Ricky Saints versus Ethan Page was going to be continuing. But it is. Ricky Saints has come back. He's called a shot for the North American Championship, and I think it's going to go right back to Ricky Saints because I think that Ethan Page is due for the main roster probably at some point this summer. So I've got Ricky Saints dethroning Ethan Page so that Ethan Page can go to the main roster and Ricky Saints can hold down the mid-card of NXT. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a brand new United States champion, and just remember, he's got tickets. In the last video, the champion was Jacob Fatu. He won the championship at WrestleMania 41, and I always thought that there was an inevitable collision course between him and Solo Sikoa. I just thought that it was going to happen later at SummerSlam. If you go back to that last video, I said it's probably going to be SummerSlam, and it's probably going to be Solo Sikoa because of the involvement of Hikuleo. Like it was kind of clear as day that something like that was going to happen in the feud between Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. So yeah, in the last video, I said that eventually Solo Sikoa would be the one to dethrone Jacob Fatu. Again, I predicted it much later at SummerSlam, but it ended up happening much earlier than I anticipated because we have a brand new United States champion, exactly how we all thought it was going to happen. The debut of Hikuleo, HK Mateo, if you really want to call him that. Apparently his name is now Talatonga, which is just hilarious. Hey, what is he? Yeah, he's a Tongan. Is he tall? He's taller than the other Tongas. He's a Talatonga. Anyways, we also have the return of the infamous Tongaloa, and now we have the funniest, goofiest looking faction that I've ever seen in my life, led by Solo Sikoa, and I can't wait to see what this faction looks like. I think that there could be one of two ways that you could go. I'm gonna go with the simple way because WWE likes simplicity. They're probably just gonna go right back to Jacob Fatu, probably at SummerSlam. I know WWE likes their baby faces overcoming the odds, and right now it doesn't get more difficult than Jacob Fatu having to overcome an entire faction to get his hands back on that United States Championship. As much as I love Solo Sikoa, the future here is Jacob Fatu. This is who WWE clearly has marked to be a main eventer down the line for the WWE, main eventing WrestleManias, etc. And I think he's going to chase this championship and win it back at SummerSlam. The other really strong, viable option that I think is worth considering at the very least is Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso has been in the perimeter, in the gravitational pull of the feud between these guys, but he hasn't really been a focal character. He's just sort of been there to help Jacob Fatu. So if I'm reading the tea leaves, I think more than anything, I think he's more likely to be somebody to help Jacob Fatu beat the odds and beat the numbers that Solo Sikoa has so that Jacob Fatu can win the championship back. So I'm going to just predict that it's going to go back to Jacob Fatu. The Intercontinental Championship, ladies and gentlemen, this thing has been on ice. No storylines, barely any matches. I'm getting concerned here. In the last video, the champion was the greatest champion of all time, Dominic Mysterio, but for some reason, WWE is afraid to use Dominic Mysterio in any sort of meaningful storyline. And I think that now they're in some sort of hard reset mode with Dominic Mysterio, with Liv Morgan's injury completely derailing the storyline that they clearly had marked for him going into SummerSlam, which was Finn Balor pulling the strings to get Roxanne Perez to infiltrate the Judgment Day and seduce Dominic, to put a wedge between Dominic and Liv Morgan. But all of that is completely out the window. So now you kind of have to brainstorm for the beginning for Dominic Mysterio. In the last video, I said that it would be Finn Balor, but because of everything that's happened with Liv Morgan and the storyline with Roxanne Perez probably needing to be scrapped because you can't really pay it off at SummerSlam like WWE was probably intending, now Finn Balor being this evil mastermind doesn't really land or fit anymore. Like, Liv Morgan needed to be part of this to really make the Finn Balor like betrayal for Dominic Mysterio truly land and be meaningful, because I think the idea was for Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan to break out of the Judgment Day to maybe be kind of like a Bonnie and Clyde quasi babyface tweener type of characters. And with Liv Morgan not there, you can't really do that with Dominic Mysterio, and you can't really pay off and fulfill the rest of the storyline. So I'm going to go in a different direction, especially now that he's a tag team champion. In the last video, AJ Styles was kind of feuding for this thing, but I didn't think that he was going to win it. But because Dominic now has this like broken heart, now that he doesn't have Liv Morgan there, I wouldn't be surprised if WWE just yoinks the title away from Dominic Mysterio and just starts something new with AJ Styles as champion, considering they're in a reset mode anyway. The TNA World Championship is still part of the WWE ecosystem, so let's be quick about this one. In the last video, the champion was Trick Williams. He has successfully defended the championship against Elijah recently, and honestly, he has been ridiculously entertaining as TNA champion. It's been a lot of fun seeing him running around with this thing. The best thing that they could have done was putting him with First Class, Casey Navarro, and AJ Francis, because they have been ridiculously entertaining together. In the last video, I did say that it was going to be the Boricua to dethrone Trick Williams. I thought that it was going to be Santana. I don't know that it's going to be this anymore. I think it's still a strong likelihood. I'm putting him at like number 2 in terms of potential people to dethrone Trick Williams. But I think they're just going to go back to Joe Hendry. They have a championship match upcoming here very soon. And maybe it was always meant to be a short run for Trick Williams as TNA champion to get more eyeballs on the TNA product. But maybe the goal was always to put it back on the guy that he dethroned in Joe Hendry. So I'm going to go back to Joe Hendry as the most viable option right now. The Women's NXT Championship. The champion in the last video was JC Jane after shocking not just the world, but maybe the entire universe. I think that literal aliens probably tuned in expecting the obvious of Stephanie Vaquer to retain the NXT champion. And somehow, in some way, in some multiverse, JC Jane won that. I'm not changing my mind. In the last video, I said that it was going to be the newly debuted Blake Monroe, formerly Mariah May from AEW. I know that JC Jane has a championship match at Evolution against Jordan Grace, but Jordan Grace, when it comes to championship matches, has become a professional loser on NXT. I think this is like her 4th NXT championship opportunity. She's lost the first 3, and I think that she's going to lose this one as well, because WWE has already moved forward with the JC Jane and Blake Monroe storyline before the JC Jane and Jordan Grace match even happened. So I think that this is the path that they're going down. The Women's World Championship. Oh boy. In the last video, the champion was Io Sky. And of course she was the champion. And of course she was the champion in the video before that, because she hasn't had an opportunity to lose the damn thing, because WWE hasn't had her defend the championship on a Raw, on a SmackDown, on NXT, on a PLE, ever since defending it at WrestleMania 41. You would think that she, I don't know, pooped in Triple H's Cheerios with how she's being treated, because she's not, it's not even that she's being booked poorly. She's just straight up not being booked as our champion. And I don't get it, because she's so good and she got over. She got popular. Make it make sense. I wish we had Jesse the Body Ventura right now to be angry and pointing out the obvious. Make it make sense. That sounded more like Bernie Sanders, but you get what I'm trying to say. Here's the thing. In the last video, I said that it was going to be Liv Morgan, and I ended up being, I think I was going to end up being right, because they ended up actually doing the Liv Morgan and Io Sky storyline, setting up a championship match, and then the Liv Morgan injury happened on the same night that they confirmed the match, and completely derailed everything. What's funny is that in the previous video, I just said, listen, they're probably just going to give this back to Rhea Ripley, because WWE has done such a poor job of developing the women's main event scene outside of Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. But then Liv Morgan stepped up and I was like, oh, maybe it won't be Rhea Ripley. Maybe it'll be actually Liv Morgan. Psych, you idiots. Did you really think that WWE was going to do anything else aside from the obvious Rhea Ripley option? Yeah, they're going right back to press the Rhea Ripley button in case of emergency because Io Sky literally has nobody to face at Evolution. They've done nothing in terms of building storylines for Io Sky, so they needed something quick that they could deliver in a 2-week turnaround, and that's always going to be Rhea Ripley. And Rhea Ripley's storyline right now with Io, I know it exists, but they haven't visited it in 2 months, and really the only thing to go off of is that, hey, Rhea has never beaten Io, and now I guess they're going to have another championship opportunity. What's funny is that the way that this match happened, that completely justifies everything that me and most of you were saying, that Rhea doesn't need to be in the Queen of the Ring tournament, that she didn't need to be in Money in the Bank, because she can literally get a championship match whenever she wants. And guess what? That's literally what fucking happened. She just got a championship match whenever WWE wanted. Further proof that, like, she doesn't need to be in those other tournaments or matches for accolades that she just doesn't need. Anyways, we have Rhea versus Io, and I just don't think that Rhea's losing streak with Io is going to continue. I think they're going to have Rhea win at Evolution. Now let's talk about the WWE Women's Championship. In the last video, the champion was Tiffany Stratton, and since then she's defended the championship against Nia Jax, which is cool, I guess, and what was a very fun last woman standing match, but a match that I never really thought the title was in danger. In the last video, I actually said that our next champion would be Naomi, that during a match, maybe with Nia Jax in that last woman standing match, even though I predicted this before that match was properly announced, that Naomi would cash in her Money in the Bank briefcase to become our new champion. But since then, we now have had Jade Cargill win the Queen of the Ring, and I think the plan is probably for Naomi to cash in on Jade Cargill when Jade Cargill wins. Alternatively, it could be during the match between Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton, and then they make it a triple threat, and then Naomi wins, and then technically Naomi would be our next women's champion. There are some fun things that they can do here, but I think that they're going to go with what we're all expecting, which is Jade dethrones Tiffany Stratton at SummerSlam, and then immediately Naomi cashes in. The NXT Championship, this thing continues to be on lockdown. And it's on lockdown because the champion is Obafemi, and it seems like WWE has just ran into a brick wall because they don't know what to do with Obafemi as champion, because they genuinely don't have anybody that could realistically dethrone Obafemi. They have one guy, and that's the guy I ended up going with, but I still think that there are months left before this guy dethrones Oba. So because there's nobody for Obafemi to get dethroned by, I decided to once again go into different universes to find viable options to dethrone Obafemi. The first one I'm going with is Ash's Pokemon team that helped them become the Pokemon League champion after what seems like decades of this guy being 10 years old. Not only does he have a dope team that helped him finally win a world championship, but he seems to also be immortal and doesn't age. Also, shout out to that fight between Pikachu and that Charizard. This Pikachu, bro, this thing is on another level. Pikachu alone might have a chance against Oba. I'm gonna go with the genie from Aladdin, the animated one voiced by Robin Williams, not the nightmare-inducing one played by Will Smith in the real-life action version. This dude can grant wishes. You would think that he'd be able to grant the wish of becoming NXT champion. Fran Stolanoskrovich Dobrovitsky, in her home country of Romanova, dodgeball is the national sport, and her nuclear plant has won the dodgeball championship 5 years straight, making her the most dangerous woman with a dodgeball. Brock Lesnar, if you know, you know. Johnny Lawrence from the Karate Kid, he got robbed. That was an illegal crane kick used by that cheater Daniel LaRusso to win the All Valley tournament. In a fair fight, Johnny Lawrence wins that 10 out of 10 times. I think it's going to be Jasper Troy. Jasper Troy is the only one that's been able to actually put Obafemi on his ass. Even though he lost the #1 contendership match to Inamura, I don't think Inamura is going to be the one to dethrone Obafemi. I think that they're going to continue to build Jasper Troy, and maybe somewhere down the line, maybe like Stand and Deliver deliver. Like, I still think it's a long time. Jasper Troy might become our next NXT champion. The World Heavyweight Championship. Let's talk about this. In the last video, we had a brand new World Heavyweight Champion, like literally like by like a day. It was Gunther. Gunther dethroned Jey Uso, and I was completely caught off guard because I thought that they were going to run with Jey Uso until at the very minimum SummerSlam. In the last video, I said, yeah, they're just going to go with Sami Zayn. I still think that this is very, very much on the table, considering Sami Zayn's motivations right now are to become a world champion. But when I look at Sami Zayn's plate, it looks pretty full with the likes of Karrion Kross, with Braun and Braun connection. There's things for him to be doing right now that don't involve the World Heavyweight Championship and Gunther. So, believe it or not, rejoice LA Knight fans, I think it might be LA Knight, because we have LA Knight now joining Monday Night Raw, not just joining Monday Night Raw, but being inserted into a really high profile feud with Seth Rollins that gives him a match at Saturday night's main event. Now, because of the ever looming presence of CM Punk, I think that LA Knight might actually win that match because of involvement from CM Punk costing Seth Rollins. And if that can actually happen, I feel like WWE's got their justification to put LA Knight in a world championship match at SummerSlam against Gunther. I mean, he beat Mr. Money in the Bank, a first ballot Hall of Famer. Again, that's all dependent on if LA Knight, shenanigans or not, can beat Seth Rollins at Saturday night's main event. And it is important that he beats Seth Rollins for what's about to happen next, because LA Knight is gonna dethrone Gunther at SummerSlam. We're gonna have that big, super happy moment. Oh my God, good things come to those that wait. And I'm sure that Michael Cole will even drop that line as we have confetti flying down, everyone chanting, yeah. And then the guy that he beat at Saturday night's main event will cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase to ruin that moment, crush our souls, and good and bad things come to those that wait, all in the same night. This is better than just going back to Sami Zayn or Jey Uso, okay? All right, just let me have this. And the WWE Championship. John Cena is our champion, and this championship reign keeps getting better and better and better and more entertaining, and I just don't want it to end because it's finally gotten good. In the last video, I suggested that Cody Rhodes would win at SummerSlam, big confetti moment, yada, yada, yada. And that Seth Rollins would cash in, so he could finally get his victory over Cody Rhodes and then set up Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins as one of the big feuds of the year. But I think it's just going to be Cody Rhodes. I think Cody Rhodes is just going to dethrone John Cena. Maybe it doesn't happen at SummerSlam, but it will happen. It's Cody Rhodes' destiny. This is what TKO wants. Cody Rhodes to be the one to end John Cena's run and to save professional wrestling. All right, folks, that's it. Thanks so much for watching this month's edition of Who Will Dethrone the Champions. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Take care. Get out of here. Fran Stolinoskrovich Dobrevitsky in her home country of Romanova, dodgeball is the... Fran Stolinoskrovich Dobrevitsky in her home country of Romanova, dodgeball is the national sport, and her nuclear plan has been... Fran Stolinoskrovich... Fran Stolinoskrovich Dobrevitsky in her home country of Romanova, dodgeball is her... Fran Stolinoskrovich...